Hey, give me a job! Give me a job! What's up, it's a culture detective here, investigating your vivid movies, and today I'm going to be doing a quick review on a movie that I just finished like 10 minutes ago, but I started watching last night, but I finished it earlier this morning, and that movie is Problemista, which is a new A24 film produced by, written by, directed by, and starring Julio Torres, who is an El Salvadorian writer, comedian who has written several shorts and skits for Saturday Night Live, most notably the Papyrus skit starring Ryan Gosling, where he sees the papyrus font on the Avatar poster and goes insane because it's such a lame font for such a high budget movie. So, obviously, going to the movie, there is a lot to expect. A lot of comedy, a lot of heartfelt wholesomeness, a lot of smart, witty storytelling. I mean, right off the bat, this movie, given that it is A24, people are already going to go into this movie with high expectations. And aesthetically and narratively, there are a lot of things in this film that just screams A24. Like, visually, it has the eccentricity of like a Daniels or an Ari Aster film, and at the same time, it also has the modesty of like Marcel the Shell with the shoes on. But anyways, the story of Problemista is about a guy named Alejandro who I guess had recently graduated from college, and now he has to do everything in his power to stay in the US before they deport him. And holy shit, I even though I haven't reached that part yet, but this is crazy because 2 years later I'll be exactly in the same shoes as he will be in this movie. And it's crazy because there aren't a lot of movies. In fact, off the top of my head, I can't think of any movies that talk about this problem. This is a problem that is uniquely problematic for international students or international people in the US, just struggling to get a work visa, and you get 1 month's time. Or actually, if you graduate, depending on your major, you get 1 year or even 3 years if you're in STEM. But given that I'm a film student, I get 1 year to find a job. Okay, I get 1 year to find a job, and if I don't, I get deported. End of story. So, right off the bat, this film is already one of the most relatable movies I've ever seen in 2024 so far, and probably will be the most relatable film by the end of the year. Okay, stop this madness. Stop this blasphemy. There are flies everywhere. So, yeah, absolutely relatable story. And as expected, this is a fun, hopeful, eccentric story about Alejandro who runs into this crazy old woman, played by Tilda Swinton, who is essentially this artist who is trying to collect paintings for her deceased, well, not deceased, more like frozen husband. And after putting up these paintings for a show, he might, maybe, get a chance to be sponsored and get a work visa so that he can stay in the USA and continue his path, career path at the USA. What a lot of people don't understand, especially local Americans living in America, doesn't understand is that America is, for decades already, is marketed as the country of dreams and the country of freedom. People from poor and uh, more broken places politically have to come to America so that they can live a better life. Yet, for some reason, the visa system of the USA is so fucking complicated. It's actually infuriating, and I want to tear my eyeballs out. And again, I haven't graduated from college yet. I haven't had to go through what he had to go through yet. But there have already been instances where I have to break my balls and travel all the way to Mexico to do something with my visa and then come back just because of the American visa system. It's so frustrating, and I'm so glad this movie displayed that in full volume. So obviously there are a lot of relatable moments. Visually, it's also very interesting at times. I really like these moments and scenes and sequences where we see visual depictions of what's going on in Alejandro's mind, not necessarily what's happening in real life. Like when Isabella Rossellini was narrating the game, the puzzle of getting a work visa, and then we see Julio Torres in this labyrinth of cubicle rooms, crawling from one floor to another, going through a trapdoor just to try to get this key to get money to apply for a form so that he can earn money legally, but he needs money to begin with, and then it's an absolute freaking nightmare. And it is moments like this that make me feel grateful that my parents are still paying for my rent and my tuition. Like, I don't have to work, but I do have to find work desperately, even so, because my family bank account is breaking apart. And so, for the last 2 years of my life, I have been desperately applying for jobs nonstop, and it's always getting nowhere because in order to get a job, you need a social security number. But if nobody hires you, you can't apply for a social security number. And then in order to be hired, you need to have a social security number. So what the fuck am I supposed to do? So that's a story for another time. But, anyways, it's a colorful movie. There are also moments of magical realism that I really like. Also, the performances are pretty cool. We have Tilda Swinton, who is might as well one of my favorite actresses of all times. Her character is annoying as hell and unlikable, but because it's Tilda Swinton, she's managed to make this character more likable and more entertaining. And then we have Greta Lee, who like shows up in 2 scenes, but she's amazing in all those scenes. We have RZA of Wu-Tang fame, and he's also pretty good in this movie. This movie clearly relies a lot on comedy, and sometimes it relies too much on comedy, like the FileMaker Pro jokes, like, oh, do you know how to work the FileMaker Pro? And then dramatic music happens, and okay, I get it. It's like a weird software, but the movie keeps making that joke. And I guess that bit is the most SNL element of this film. But yeah, another thing, not really a gripe or anything. It's just that this film is very visually fun, but these fun visuals are seldom incorporated into the actual story, and they're just there in the background, and that's it. But the ending is really sweet. It's really memorable, and yeah, yeah. I'm giving Problemista a decent 8 out of 10. So, have you watched Problemista? Comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.